Perfect. Good evening, City of Soledad. We really want to thank everybody that made it out tonight for our meeting on emergency preparedness. As you can see, the weather outside, it's getting a little bit more windy, a little bit more rainy, and we definitely want to make sure that our community is safe. And the best way to do so, we figured we would do a presentation in collaboration with our police department, CAL FIRE, and also the County of Monterey, to give some tips, some advice on how you can keep your family safe. So tonight we will be hearing first and foremost from the Chief of Police, Chuck Watson, and then from CAL FIRE, from the County of Monterey, and then we will end with some more information about where to get the most accurate details for in the event of an emergency. So without further ado, I would like to pass it on to our Chief of Police.
Good evening. My name is Chuck Watson. I'm the Chief of Police, and we're doing this a presentation to provide information to the citizens of the City of Soledad in case of an emergency or if something happens that you need the information on. First thing to do is try not to panic. When you panic, you make bad decisions, you make incorrect decisions. You can't make a rational choice to get yourself out of a situation if you're in a situation, or to think ahead to find a solution to a situation. So first and foremost, remain calm, and you can think yourself and think your way out of those situations. If you need us, call us. Be clear with dispatch, be clear with the police department. Let us know what you need. Let us know what kind of help you need so we can provide the services that you do need. If we don't know what we're going into and we don't know what help you need, we can't provide those services. If we get there and something we're not prepared for, or we didn't bring with us, it's going to take us longer to get help assistance to you. So be clear, be concise. Is it an emergency? It goes back to being calm, remaining calm, and thinking about what's going on. Is it really an emergency? If it is, call us, call 911, get us there. If it's not an emergency, let us know that you just need some kind of assistance, and we can come provide assistance for you. For your families, have a plan. A lot of families don't have plans. You don't know what's going to happen if the lights go out, the power goes out, the rain hits, the floods come, whatever. Have a plan in place before you need it. Have a meeting point. If your family gets separated, something happens, a fire, a flood, electrical, and everybody has to leave the house, have a place where everyone can meet so that you know where your family is and you can keep your family together and keep you safe. Have an emergency kit. First aid stuff, bandage, just the basic stuff in case you get hurt, you get injured, or you need something that can take care of the situation right at that moment. Have a list of contacts and resources. A lot of families don't have contacts for their kids. They'll get separated from their family. Something will happen. Families will get separated, and the kids don't know numbers. They don't know who to call or how to call or who to get a hold of. So if everyone's got a contact list with resources on there, we can help your child. We can help reunite the families. Have something handy that you can dump all of your important papers in. Plastic containers, something waterproof, something easy to carry that you can throw birth certificates and checkbooks and ID cards and bank account information into, so that you can take it with you. You can't get the information, you can't get the resources, and you can't get your bank information and stuff, if it's left in the house and there's a fire or flood or something else and you can't get back there to it, you're going to need those resources. Medication. Have someplace you can take your medication. A lot of folks can't go for very long without medication because of some kind of illness. Have someplace where you can just break all of your medications into a container and take it with you. Things like CPAP machines. A lot of people don't think about things like that, but if you have breathing issues and you're separated from your CPAP machine or whatever, getting a replacement or getting resources to replace that for you is going to be kind of hard. So if you have something you can throw it into and take it with you, at least you'll have that kind of the resource for you. If you're stuck in your house or you're stuck someplace and you can't go anywhere, have 3 or 4 days worth of food and water stored up in your house somewhere. Hopefully you won't need it, but if you do and you can't get out, you can't get to food, you can't get to water, at least you'll have enough water and resources until we can get there to provide assistance for you. Think long-term and think short-term. Long-term, you're going to be gone from your house or you're going to be stuck in your house. What are you going to need to survive, to keep your family healthy until you can get the resources or we can get the resources to you to take care of that long-term situation. Again, is it an emergency? Are there prowlers? When the lights go out, power goes out, people prowl through neighborhoods and stuff, that's a 911, that's an emergency call. If you're physically harmed or you're in danger, that's a 911 call. Medical emergency, a 911 call. If your car is lost or something is lost or stolen, that's probably not an emergency, and you should call us on the non-emergency number, let us know, yeah, your car is missing or whatever. We'll get to it when we get to it, and that way we can provide the actual emergency services we need to provide to the people that actually need it. 911 for emergencies, it goes straight to our dispatch center goes straight to us. It works for the police department and it works for CAL FIRE. If it's an emergency, call us. We will get there as quickly as we can and we will provide the assistance that we can. On the screen, you have our non-emergency numbers for dispatch, the non-emergency number for CHP, and a non-emergency number for CAL FIRE. Again, from a law enforcement perspective, it's thinking ahead, being prepared ahead, and having a game plan. Don't panic, and we will get there to assist you as quickly as we can. And with that, I will turn that over to our CAL FIRE chief.
Okay, good evening, Jason Lukenbach, Battalion Chief with CAL FIRE in the City of Soledad Fire Department. So for the emergency preparedness tonight, we wanted to ensure the community is prepared as much as possible, and we're going to stick with specific items within the city that we deal with. We want to educate and inform the community on emergency preparedness for winter storms and beyond, to provide guidance in what you can expect from your local resources, while also providing informational material for future assistance when an emergency arises. So the City of Soledad Fire Department responds also to the immediate within city limits and then to Mission Soledad Rural, and again in neighboring communities. As you can see, there's a large area that the City Fire Department responds to. We have our non-emergency phone number published, and this would be those non-life-threatening emergencies. This may be something minor that you would like the fire department out to maybe take a look at, but something that wouldn't be life-threatening. For interoperability, so we're a single engine fire station here within the city limits, and we use our auto aid response resources predominantly for anything that's, if we're committed, or anything that's greater than a 1-engine emergency response. We utilize the City of Greenfield and the Correctional Training Facility Fire Department for our local emergencies. We're also reaching out through mutual aid to CAL FIRE, the CDC hand crews if needed, the City of Gonzales Fire Department, South Monterey County, Monterey County Regional, and again, City of Salinas. And those are when we're at some drawdown levels where we need that additional response. So we want to make sure there's a new app that everybody in the community could download, and it's called Pulse Point. We've talked about it many times. The advantage of Pulse Point is you can get it on your mobile device. You'll be notified anytime there's a vehicle accident, anytime there's flooding in the roadway where maybe there's a hazard. And it's a great tool for the community. It has a mapping feature. It's a great tool to let the community know what area to stay away from. This can go from a residential fire, this could be a vegetation fire, a number of items, and it'll send a small alert to your phone and it'll advise you of what's going on in the city. We don't provide the exact location of a certain residence, but what we do provide, especially in times during winters, when there's flooding, you can see what part of the city is flooded, what part of the district is flooded. And it's a good way to stay informed. Again, that's Pulse Point. When you download Pulse Point, it'll give you the ability, you'll want to utilize Soledad CAL FIRE. When you look up Soledad CAL FIRE, you can download and it'll be specific to Soledad. If you live outside of the city limits, there's multiple other agencies, South Monterey County Fire, the Pebble Beach Community Service District, Cypress, there's multiple facilities that it'll track. Another option that the city's implemented is on the city webpage under emergency. We have multiple resources that are available for the public. These are great resources. We have the NOAA weather link. That link will provide you any weather updates, whether it's a flash flood warning, any type of natural emergency. Monterey County hydrology links. Those are going to be the river levels here within the city. Last year, when the Salinas River and the Arroyo Seco River started to rise, those hydrology links are what tells us what potentially can happen. They're great links. We got alert in Monterey County that the Monterey County you'll hear about. Great app to download. There's a link for Cal OES. Anytime there's an emergency where there might be a proclamation or we have to do a citywide emergency, great resource to use. American Red Cross, as well as FEMA. We hope that no one has to use these links personally, but they're there and available if needed. So we'll go into power line electrical safety. Coincidentally, right now, we're getting winds at 30 to 40 miles an hour within the city. We want everybody to understand kind of a brief synopsis of power line safety. Here's a good presentation of power lines. You have your primary lines up top that provide to the communities themselves. Those are your high voltage lines. Under that, we have our secondary wires. Those lines provide to maybe smaller neighborhoods within the city. Extremely dangerous. You have a service wire in the center. Those are what we call drop lines. Those are those service lines that go to the resident. That residence itself, they're still extremely vital, they're deadly, and they can create fires and create severe damage if they're touched. Communication lines, although they're not a necessary immediate emergency, we want everybody to stay away. They still hold some type of voltage. Any type of power line on the ground, we assume that it's a high voltage line. We encourage everybody to stay away from the area. What do you do if you see a down power line? This is absolutely critical. Don't go near a down power line. Stay at least 100 feet away from any power line. Always assume that a power line on the ground is live. Don't touch the power line with the hand or any object. Don't touch anything in contact with the down power line. A good example is if you have a power line down across a fence, you can be multiple hundreds of feet away. If you touch that fence, you can be electrocuted. It's deadly. We want to keep everybody away at all times. Keep children and pets away from fallen electric lines. Don't drive over power lines. And please immediately call 911 and stay out of the area. What do you do if your vehicle comes in contact with the down power line? Stay calm. First thing you need to do is call 911. Stay in the vehicle if possible. Do not exit the vehicle. And wait until the firefighter, a police officer, or PG&E advise you that it's safe to get out of that vehicle. If you can, roll down the window and warn others to stay away from the vehicle. If a fire starts and you must exit the vehicle, please keep your hands on the sides, jump out of the vehicle, landing both feet on the ground at the same time. Do not touch anything, and you never let your foot leave the ground. You shuffle on the ground. You have to keep that in there. As soon as you leave, you can be electrocuted. So let's talk about flood safety awareness. This is a common one, as most city residents and a lot of county residents experienced last year. This is a picture of the Arroyo Seco area from last year. Before a flood arises, build an emergency kit, just like Chief Wasson talked about. Stay informed, listen to the radio and or TV for local weather and emergency traffic. Build sandbag walls around your house if possible. We have a large sandbag pile in front of the fire station. If you're looking to build a wall, we don't want them greater than 2 feet tall. You just build a wall less than 2 feet, you surround the area, and that will keep water to its extent. It's not gonna create a barrier to prevent all water, but it will make some effort. It does take time. Please don't wait till last minute to grab sandbags. During the flood, move to higher ground if possible, don't wait. Do not touch any electrical devices if you're wet or you're standing in water. And don't drive or walk through moving water. Again, please do not drive or walk through moving water. Even a flooded street creates a hazard. The fire department might be able to get out there and get you, but it's gonna be a hazard. Please do not enter the flooding waters. After the flood, so once the flood's passed, the rain's gone, the flood's still gonna be there. If the ground's saturated, that water has nowhere to go. Avoid making contact with any flood waters, as contaminants may be in the water. Do not let children or pets play in flooded waters. Sanitize or disinfect areas that have been in contact with any flood waters. And please wear protective clothing, boots, gloves, long sleeves. Whenever possible, stay away from flooded waters. Another item we would like to discuss is earthquake awareness. There's an app called MyShape. It's a great app. If you download this app, it will alert you as possible anytime an earthquake has occurred. Remember, we are right here on the border of the San Andreas Fault, an extremely large fault line for earthquakes. If there is a large earthquake, chances are Soledad's going to be affected. The app is called MyShape. We strongly encourage everybody to download that app. And then some general items the fire department would like to pass on. Generator use. Multiple times we go to residences that need help or their power's out, and they start a generator. This is extremely deadly. Carbon monoxide kills, and it kills people every year. A lot of times, unfortunately, it's children involved overnight. Never use a gas-powered generator inside your house. If you're gonna use a generator, it needs to be downwind, outside, hundreds of feet away. Absolutely do not run the generator. Carbon monoxide, you can't smell carbon monoxide. If it's in your home, you're gonna breathe it, you'll become tired, when you fall asleep, it could be deadly. It's colorless, odorless, and you won't know it's there. Generators, again, need to be outside or downwind. Home heating. Please, we encourage everybody, never use your gas stove to heat your home. If that flame were to go out, it's natural gas that you're filling your home up with. We see it on the news every day. There's some type of explosion in a home due to a gas leak. This is a perfect example. Please do not heat your home. And then a common one we see here in city limits, fireplace ashes. We see people late at night, they throw the hot ashes in their dumpster. You give it a couple hours, it's gonna ignite. Next thing you know, the side of your home's on fire. You don't know it. Fire department comes by, and a lot of times it can be too late. The house is fully involved. So please do not throw the ashes in fire pits. Put them in a fire containment like a metal bin, keep them outside, and definitely fill it up with water and cool them off. Unless there's any questions, we'll go ahead and hand it over to Mindy with Monterey County. Thank you.
City of Soledad. My name is Mindy Skeda. I'm an emergency services planner with the County of Monterey in our emergency management department. And I'm happy to be here tonight. We're here basically to let you know that in addition to the wonderful partners that are presenting here tonight, the County of Monterey also is here to support you. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we do that. So the Department of Emergency Management, basically what we do is we are kind of the link to coordinating all of the agencies and jurisdictions that fall under the County of Monterey. And so our responsibility is overseeing the operational area, overseeing all of the efforts during an emergency. And when we do that, that's an actual picture of our Emergency Operations Center in the in Salinas there for the County of Monterey. So basically, again, we serve as the link. So when the chain goes like this, so it's the city level, so City of Soledad, if you were to need more resources beyond what the city can provide, the city will reach out to the county and then we will respond. If it becomes more than what we can respond, then we go to the state and then we go to the Fed. So the County of Monterey serves as a link between the local cities and the federal and state government. So how do we assist? I'll explain a little bit more about that. Basically what we do, we work with a multitude of partners. So that includes 17 fire agencies, 14 law enforcement. We've got 10 plus county departments. We've got 7 plus state and regional partners, 6 or more federal partners, and over 15 nonprofit community organizations that we work with to basically serve and resource the entire operational area of Monterey County. One of the things I definitely want to pass on today is make sure that everyone is aware of how we can communicate with you during an emergency. And what we have is our platform is alertmontereycounty.org. If you go to that website, you can choose how to receive the alerts and warnings that we will send out. It could be on your cell phone, it could be via email, your landline, however you choose. That information is strictly for that purpose only, but it's critical that we are able to communicate with the Monterey County area during times of emergency. To give you an example, some of the types of alerts that you will see from us, I want to definitely stress the difference between a flood. When we talk about flooding, you're going to see a flood watch and a flood warning. And that's one of the things actually that changed just today as well. So when you get an alert and you see flood watch, what that means is that flooding is possible. And so basically stay tuned, just be aware, more information will be coming. And if possible, if you're in a situation where you feel you're more at risk, move to higher ground. When you see a flood warning come through, now it's escalated. Now flooding is happening or it's going to happen soon. So it's escalated to that next level. So we have our thresholds that trigger that, and then we will send out that follow-up warning. So when you see a flood warning, move to higher ground immediately. Same thing with evacuations. When it's time to evacuate, same thing. First, we'll send out an evacuation warning, and that's just basically a potential threat to life or property. And so if you are in a situation where you need maybe a little extra time, you have, pets, livestock, whatever, that's your time to go ahead and get started going to a safe evacuation place. And just so you know, as the County of Monterey, when we give the order to evacuate, we are legally responsible to provide shelter. So there will always be a shelter. If you receive evacuation warning or order from the county, we'll always be providing shelters. If you see evacuation order, now it's escalated, and that is an actual lawful order for you to evacuate because there's an immediate threat to life, safety, and property. Want to talk a little bit more about the resources that we are here to provide for you. So this is a picture of our website. It's readymontereycounty.org, and it has just a plethora of information. In addition to what you have for the City of Soledad, as we've explained before, this is just additional resources that we will be providing for the City of Soledad, as well as one of the partnering agencies and jurisdictions under our area. So some of the things that, again, like we talked about, you can register for the alerts on the website. There's the link to the Monterey County website. I want to also remind everyone to utilize the SPCA. So a lot of the times, the challenge that we have when it comes time to evacuating is that people with animals are hesitant to go. Sometimes the shelters may or may not be able to accept pets. So we want to be able to recommend everyone and suggest everyone that utilize the SPCA. It's a fantastic resource and they will take care of the animals so that you can get out safely. And so their website is here listed as well. We want to let you know that PG&E also has a specific webpage just for emergencies, and that's listed here. The National Weather Service is always a fantastic resource to find out the most current information available. Also, we have, sandbag stockpile list. The city of Soledad provides that for you as well. But on our website, it shows you throughout the county, the different areas that you'll be able to get sandbag distribution. And that concludes my presentation, and thank you all for listening to us tonight.
All the speakers. Good. And so one last thing before we wrap up, we definitely want to communicate that in the event of an emergency, information is very important. It's important where we get our information from. And so the city of Soledad is always committed to bringing you the most up-to-date information in the fastest way possible. We know that last year, or in the beginning of this year, when there were a lot of floods, when the riverbed was beginning to flood, there was a lot of misinformation out there, and that can be very dangerous. We saw on social media, on Facebook in particular, somebody posting that the water at the riverbed was getting so high that they were going to shut down the 101. That was not true. However, it spread a lot, right? A lot of people were sharing it before verifying it. So get the most accurate information. Here are some places where you can do that. The City of Soledad CA for Twitter, cityofsoledad.com. Our chief mentioned all of the information and resources that we have there as well. Our Facebook is always active, City of Soledad. City of Soledad on Instagram. And we have an app. So if you haven't taken the time to download the It's Happening app, that is where you can get alerts for everything important that's happening in Soledad. And of course, when in doubt, give us a call, right? Our phone number is listed right there, 831-223-5000. So if you do hear rumor, that the 101 is being closed, or that there are certain sections of town that are being closed off, and you can't find it on any social media site, always feel free to give us a call. Misinformation is very dangerous. It can lead to panic, and we want to avoid that as much as possible. So in the event of an emergency, the city has a plan. The city council adopted a plan a number of years ago. And the two main takeaways is that in the event of an emergency, the city manager can activate the emergency operations center, and that will be operated out of City Hall. And in the event that there are floods or fires and we need to shelter, the city has two options. One is the Catholic Church across the street from City Hall, and the other is here at the community center. So, residents feel free, feel safe knowing that the City of Soledad is doing everything it can to keep everybody safe, to keep its residents safe, to keep its residents informed. So with that, I don't know if there are any questions from the public for anybody that, for the chiefs, for myself, for the county. Yes, sir.
Question. In the event of a major regional emergency such as the big earthquake, we have one fire engine, from what I understand, and there are county resources available, but everybody's gonna want everything at the same time. So basically, there will be no resources to follow up to our one fire engine. Is that correct?
I'll let Chief Lukenbach answer that one.
So good evening, I appreciate the question. So in the instance that an emergency like that arises, we use the incident command system. And that's kind of statewide, we use the incident command system. There's resources from outside the area. So OES is broken up in operational areas. So in the event a large earthquake were to happen, once a city or county exhausts their entities or their resources, it goes out statewide. And then we go up to the regional area, and then from there it goes to the statewide area. So locally, we may have the one engine in the city, Greenfield will have theirs. For the immediate response, and that's why it's so critical to build these emergency kits. For the first 12 to 14 hours, it's gonna be all hands on deck, and we're gonna exhaust resources very quickly. But keep in mind, there's a large amount of resources from elsewhere in California that are coming in. And it's the same concept that we do on like a large wildland fire. In these real rural areas, when a large wildfire takes place, there may be 10 engines within a square mile or a few square miles. But within 18 hours, there could be hundreds. So we have a lot of USAR teams, urban search and rescue teams statewide. We have them in San Jose. They're all over. Hazmat teams. In the instance a big event takes place, that's where Cal OES gets involved. We reach out to Cal OES and then they start implementing that system. If that makes sense.
Got it. Any other questions?
I did want to bring up one other thing as we have a lot of rain outside. I want to reiterate the sandbag location is across from the fire station here in Soledad. The city has provided all the bags. They just had a fresh dump truck bring up a fresh load of sand. But the public, you need to bring your own shovels. The bags are there, the equipment's there, just please bring your own shovels, make bags. We just don't have the resources to deliver or make bags for everybody. So please, if you need any assistance, reach out, but we just don't have the assistance. And our fire engine right now is running calls right now with the wind. So please, if you could get family members, friends to help out, greatly appreciated. Any other questions?
Well, if there are no other questions, I really want to thank everybody that was able to make it here tonight, all of the staff, the county that came and helped to get everybody prepared. Oh, and yes, so we also have a number of resources on the table in the back provided by the Soledad Police Department. So feel free to check them out. If you're online, feel free to reach out to the Soledad Police Department for any of those resources as well. And with that, if there's nothing else, thank you. Good night.